Praise and worship messed me up. You know, it's amazing how God works, because I have a book of notes, and I saw it laying on my bed before I left, and I got ready to walk away from it, and it was like the Lord just said, turn around and pick it up. And I just picked it up. I didn't even know why. And as I sat here, the Lord reminded me of a message that I preached a few years ago, and He just kept taking me there. And I tried to not hear Him. Amen. Because I wasn't studying for that. But He can speak louder than the song. He can speak louder than the music.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard Him.
Amen.
So would you pray for me?
Amen.
I've been in this church, Church of God in Christ, all my life. Born in the church. Matter of fact, for those of you that know your history, one of the mothers that Bishop Charles Mason installed or selected in the church, she prayed for me while I was an infant and told my mother that I would be doing what I'm doing today. I don't take it lightly. And I'm not going to be long. But the reason why I stayed and I ran from God for so long, and I hope this will help some of our young people who God has a calling on their life that's running. But you really can't run away from God and He not find you. When I was about 12 years old, I had a dream that God took me into the heavens and parked me in a room with just 4 walls and a door. And I waited and waited and waited. It seemed like eternity. And then finally, the door opened. It was to my right. And when the door opened, a man in a white robe told me to come in. I walked in the room and it was all white and crystal. And when I looked to my right, there was a rectangular table with 11 men standing around the table, all in white robes. And then the man that was at the door, he escorted me all the way around the table and placed me behind the table. And then he lifted up a robe and he said, now you can sit among us. And I went and told my pastor, Bishop F.E. Perry. And Bishop just smiled and sent me on my way. But over the years, I knew that there was something different about me. I'm preaching. I didn't know I was going this route. And after a while, and I know this is for someone, I started hearing a call. But I started looking at my life because I knew I wasn't the one. Because I was ragged, I was a sinner, and guess what? And was enjoying myself. Huh? Yes, I was enjoying myself. But God kept calling. And kept calling. And kept calling. And then after a while, He allowed me to run into a young lady that settled me down. And she got me back into what I've been in all my life. And that was over 36 years ago. And I thank God that same lady that got me back in church is still by my side. And I thank God for my wife. I honor her today.
Amen.
Working on 36 years. But it didn't stop there. Her mother kept on telling me, God has something for you that you can't handle right now. Young person, I don't know who I'm talking to, but God has something for you that you can't handle right now. But saints of God, time is running out. And whomever God, hear me, is calling, it's time to come home. But I still ran. And I ran and I ran. Until one day I walked in a bank making a deposit. And while I was standing in line, a man came in the bank. Two men, actually. Put a gun in the back of my head and shot. But he didn't hit me. And then he screamed and hollered, "Everybody get down." I'm a soldier, ex-GI. I tried to make a run for it on the other side of the bank. And as I was running, he screamed at me and said, "Did not tell you to get down." So I dropped on the floor of the bank.
My Lord.
He said, "I told you to get down," with that voice. And he started walking toward me because as I was laying on the floor, I was looking under my arm. And I began to pray to God while I was on the floor in the bank. I said, "Lord, this man cannot kill me. I promise you, if you turn him away, I'll do what you told me to do." And as I stand in the house of God, no sooner than I finished that prayer, I watched his feet turn around and walk out the door.
My Lord. My Lord. Jesus.
Thank you, God. I said, "Thank you, God. Thank you, God." Hallelujah. God's hand is on us. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know how long you've been going through it. But God's hand got you covered. Thank you, Lord. So I praise God for his hand of protection. I know I got enemies even now. But God told me no weapon. Oh, y'all don't hear me tonight. There is no weapon that's formed against you that. No weapon. It's not going to work, Bishop. So that leads me to what I wanted to just talk to you for 5 minutes. Y'all laugh, but I'm serious. Said it won't work. And Isaiah, the 54th chapter. Let's go. I hope my testimony has encouraged and inspired someone to stop running. It was a gun in the back of my head that got my attention. Don't let that be you. Young man, don't let that be you. Young woman, don't let that be you. Thank you, Jesus. Let's go. Isaiah, the 54th chapter. I really need your prayers because I didn't study for this. When you get Isaiah 54, and I think I'm going to just maybe start somewhere. Let's start at Isaiah 54:7. When you get it, would you just stand real fast? Are you praying for me? Yes, thank you. And I know this has to be for someone. Anybody been going through something? Let me make sure I'm in the right church. Isaiah 54:7 says, "For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee." That was a praise right there. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. Look at somebody and tell them, your Redeemer. Your Redeemer said that. Said that. Let's skip down to the 14th verse. In righteousness shalt thou be established, and thou shalt be far from oppression. Far from oppression. For thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Look at God. Behold, they shall surely gather together. Well, they're coming against us, but not by me. Right. And whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Look what God does for his children. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. This is where most of us get happy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. One more verse. Flip all the way back to, or forward to 1 John 4. Whoever gets that, just read that one verse. 1 John 4 and 4. 1 John 4 and 4.
Ye are God's little children, and have overcome them, because greater is He is in you than is in you.
Read it again.
Ye are God's little children,
Yes.
and have overcome them, because
Greater is what?
is He that is in you.
That is in, help me say, in you. Then He, what? That is in the Word. Before you take your seat, I need you to just grab somebody by the hand and shake their hand with determination, with confidence, and tell them that what God put in you is greater than what's coming against you. What God put in you is greater than what's coming against you. Come on, give the Lord some praise as you take us. What God put in me is greater than what's coming against me. It's greater than what's even on me. What's greater? What He put in me. It's greater. Thank you, God. You might as well rejoice. I'll take 3 minutes. I'll take 3 minutes. I'll step aside because somebody needs to hear that. The devil's been after you. And he's trying to tell you it's over. But it's not. I don't want to praise God. I said it's not. If we believe that I couldn't go any further. Don't you dare give up. Don't you dare throw in the towel. Don't you dare turn around. Why? Because what God put. Thank you, Jesus. Greater. Coming against me. And listen, the greater the anointing is on your life, the greater the attack. Bishop said last night, encourage yourself. Stop having a pity party because the devil's after you. That's a good thing. Hear me. Listen. When was the last time you heard or seen a thief break in an empty vault?
All right.
A thief doesn't plan, strategize to break in an empty vault because it has no worth. If the attack is on your life, that means you have. Oh yeah, you've got work, you've got work. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. What God put in you, don't you dare give up. It's greater. All this mess that's coming against you. I got 2 more minutes.
Take your time.
I was looking over my notes. And I began to understand and realize that God has worked for all of us. And I began to think about life in general.
Yeah.
I know we dress up. I know we have titles and positions. But all of us, every now and then, find ourselves in a place of ruin.
Amen.
A place where we don't want to be. Do I have any witnesses? Sometimes it's because of other people.
Yes.
Sometimes people are jealous.
Amen.
Wow.
Y'all not gonna talk.
Amen.
Just because they smiling in your face don't mean.
Come on. Speak Holy Ghost.
Oh yeah. And just because they in the church doesn't mean.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes because of other people don't like you. Jealous.
Come on now.
They begin to sow the seed
Come on now.
of discord. And then before you know it, you have other people not liking you because of what somebody else said. They didn't investigate. They didn't ask. They just stopped talking to me. And I don't even know why. But if my memory serves me correctly, the Bible said there are some things that God hates.
Come on now.
And one of them is sowing
Come on.
the seed of death.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all don't hear me tonight. But sometimes I find myself in a place of hurt, of pain,
Come on, Pastor.
because of other folks.
Come on now.
And there sometimes I find myself in a place of ruin because there are just some things that happen that none of us have control.
Come on now.
Jaden just got hit
Yes.
Come on.
with 15 tornadoes.
Amen.
It paralyzed our city.
Yes.
Pastor Summer wasn't the only one. We were trapped in our house. Couldn't get out. But couldn't do anything about it. Nature said, it's time for me to do this. And we could do all the stuff that we do. We could send man to the moon. We could build skyscrapers. They can go underwater as high as they can go on top of water. But they couldn't stop not one of the tornadoes. So we found ourselves trapped. We had to cancel everything to help one another just so they could eat. Out of control, out of our control. But then God said, then sometimes you're in that place of ruin because of your decision. You can't always blame it on somebody else. Are y'all okay? But whatever the case might be, we find ourselves in that place of ruin. Adam found himself in the garden naked. Did you hear me? And I don't know who I'm talking to, young people, but stop playing with the devil. He will strip you of everything that you have. Did you hear me? And he doesn't do it all at once. a minute? He will strip you naked. Adam found himself naked in the garden because he started listening to other folks. Are y'all not preaching? Y'all tell me. He started listening to somebody else. Let me pause right here. Make sure who's in your ear is the right person. Then Moses found himself at a Red Sea, minding his own business. Jonah found himself in the belly of a whale. Because why? He was running from the will of God. And God began to speak to me one time. He said, listen, you better stop running from the will of God. Because you will find yourself like Jonah. The Bible said that when he was in the belly of the whale, it was dark. And I can imagine it was stinking. My God. Couldn't breathe. Probably scared. And somebody right now is in that place because you're running from God. You're running from the will of God. But Jonah didn't stop right there. He said, oh, yet will I look again. All right. Tap your neighbor, and I'm almost there. Just say, look again, look again. Prodigal son. And I'm not going to give it to him. I watched Bishop last night. He preached hard for the both of us. But I watched the prodigal son. Hear me. And this is the one that got to me. The prodigal son found, are you listening? The prodigal son found himself in the pen with the pigs. Why? Because he got impatient. And see, sometimes God has something for you, but it's not the proper time. God gave me a revelation in Jeremiah 18. He said, Jeremiah, go down to the potter's house and I'll show you a work that's being performed on the wheel. And when Jeremiah went down to the potter's house, he saw the work. And the potter was molding the clay and shaking. And no doubt they could see what was on the wheel. And then God spoke to me right then. He said, listen, even though the clay is molded and shaped, and everybody knows what it is, it's still not time to be used. Because if you use it before it hardens, you mess up the process. I said you mess up the process. And see, sometimes God allows you to go through some trouble. Because you just going through the process. But don't worry, what's in you is greater than what's. And guess what? I'm finished. I'm not going any further.
It's all right.
Because I'm not here to impress. God just said, deliver the message. Sit down. But I want everyone here tonight to remember this message. That what God put in you is greater than what's coming against you. Remember that. But what did he put in me? What did he put in me? To be continued. No. He gave us himself. He gave us himself. Thank you, Lord. We're standing. Thank you, Bishop. I don't owe any apologies. Because I'm learning to stop hollering so much so the people can hear.
That's right. That's right. Amen.
And get an understanding.
Yeah.
It's time out for playing. But it's time for all of us to be real. One of the things that the Lord did lay on my heart, and I'm going to need your help. I want you to grab somebody by the hand, but not the person next to you. But not the person next to you. That means you're going to have to walk. You're going to have to move. Except